Chairman Railway Board, member staff, DG Police, DG RPF, and all my other colleagues from Railways as well as from the RPF. It's very heartening to see that all those who are responsible for maintaining proper running of trains, proper running of the rail administration, not just operation which is looked after by non-uniform officers, but by others who are equally responsible for making sure that the railways operations are conducted in proper manner are here. And I also welcome DG RPF because you have just taken over, and I'm very happy that very soon you have called this conference to discuss, debate, find out solutions to some of the problems. So firstly, as you mentioned, some of the RPF issues themselves, because I understand that if RPF has to deal with others' issues, the RPF issue also has to be dealt with by somebody else. So I think I will ask the member staff to sit with RPF, prepare within 1 month, whatever is the solution possible. And I think we should try to deal with those issues as quickly as possible, so that they will not remain as issues to be discussed in such conferences. We'll rather deal with them separately and try to address them very quickly. Whatever is possible should be done, whatever is not possible, you should explain, because not everything is all the best list can be complied with. As always we see, even as a politician I see that I want to be so many things, but always it doesn't happen. So we must do something which is doable, feasible, necessary, and should be done in a town-wide manner. And what is not possible, we should try to explain to you so that we understand each other. And that's how, in fact, I always believe, that I keep telling even members of parliament, some of my colleague ministers, what is not possible I tell them immediately, what is not possible. So sometimes they don't like it, but over a period of time they appreciate it, because what was not possible couldn't have been done anyway. So therefore, better to deal with those issues which you can deal with very quickly. Now, as far as we are facing some very serious challenges in railways. We have the traffic problems, we have problems related to service, we have problems related to technology, we have problems related to finances, we have several issues. But that we are trying to deal with in a separate manner. As far as RPF is concerned, they can play a significant role in each of these areas in a different manner. For example, traffic movement itself is not the RPF responsibility, but security of traffic is RPF responsibility. It is not that earnings is RPF responsibility. That's a traffic responsibility. But ensuring that there are no slippages in earning is RPF responsibility. So therefore, if you really look at it, each of the operations of the railways cannot be carried out successfully independent of RPF. And therefore, there has to be a lot of coherence, proper cooperation, convergence with all the railway operations. So that's how we should try to find out how we can bring that some sort of a convergence at each and every zone level, division level, so that people can work very closely with each other. That's very important. And then in that context also, if there are any issues, I think we should discuss with member staff, and I'm sure the CRB, before end of this month itself, we can try to address them, so that those issues are not, some issues can be addressed very quickly. Something which goes beyond a ministry, we'll have to obviously talk to others, but whatever is possible within the ministry, we can address them. Now I think we should try to do something like a month-long program in which we can sensitize not our senior officers, they know about it, their responsibilities, but even the last person who represents the RPF. See, basically it's always the case that the interface of an average citizen of India is never with the top of the government. It is always, the cutting edge is always with the lowest of the person. And how he behaves with the outside world is going to determine the image of the organization. And that's always a challenge. That if we can talk here, we agree, but how do you ensure that it goes down to the last possible person who is representing RPF? And for that, I think we really need to have a very comprehensive training program to sensitize the people about their responsibilities, their roles, how they should behave. And I think we should even spend some money on ongoing training program in which each of these persons must undergo a training regularly. Secondly, we also must have reward system. It is not enough that we keep punishing people. That's the easiest thing to do. But if you don't recognize, and not reward necessarily means cash rewards alone, there are many ways to recognize the good work done by our people. And therefore, I think we should start something like once a week, a good performance at each division. Somebody who has done well, we should recognize him. And in fact, I saw that day even in CRPF, they do it at the airport. The person who, this is industrial security, not CIS. So they actually put that recognition, and I think the pictures are put. I think we should try to do that. I don't know whether we have a separate RPF website.
We have.
Yeah. So I think we should try to put even their pictures on that website. It is not that the person feels that I've done something, somebody has recognized it. So I think the recognition itself will go a long way in ensuring that we do. In fact, on the Rail Week, I had already announced that every division we should try to identify people at all levels. Somebody good station master, somebody good gangman, someone who has done pilot locomotive operator, the loco drivers. So all of that we should try to use and identify them and try to recognize them. How to reward them is subsequent, but at least to recognize them. And then as we go along, we'll also find out even the other means of actually rewarding them. Even in terms of we'll have to probably revisit a policy of promotions and others. But those who are doing a good job, they must be definitely singularly recognized, and in the process they must be actually rewarded over a period of time. So I think that's something we should start training, recognition, reward system. Also, I think we did recently, and I think yesterday only ended, our Samsafar week ended yesterday. So last year we started this. We had 15 days program. We call it Pakhauda. I mean, all of you have participated. This year was a week. I think whatever it is, people may say that it is like anti-tobacco week. So people think that only that week we don't have to smoke, then we can start smoking again. And some people can think that day that week was so bad I didn't smoke at all, so I must smoke more. So it should not happen like that. How to integrate that we must, what we did in the week, how can we integrate that into rest of the 51 weeks? That's a challenge. And therefore I think we should try to find out the best practices that are learned, and I think very quickly we should, the CRP also will have a conference call with all the general managers. So to institutionalize this, what is important is the best thing that you have done. People are really happy. I can see from the social media that general manager traveling by economy, the ordinary class, going and inspecting the quality of food. All of these people want. Why we do it only in a week? Just imagine if you make it as a regular regime, that every 15 days, every month, whatever is a regime, general manager, DRM, RPF officer, all of them can go and do their job and try to be seen to be doing it. See, sometimes what we do and it is not seen, then people don't like it. It is like justice. Justice may be done, but seen to be done, and people must feel it is done. So I think that is something we should try to do, and therefore I think the week and the fortnight is not enough. We should do it every week. We should do it next week to improve what we did last year. So the week that we observe should be a better version. So I think that is something. But I suggest, even after having said that, I think we should observe something like 1 month program in which the RPF can actually work with GRP. But now giving training only to RPF may not help. We have to talk to our colleagues, talk to the DG police in those states and tell them we would like to even train our GRP people. Because as the CRP correctly said, as well as the member staff, people don't discriminate between GRP and CRP. Nobody knows. If I didn't know till I became the minister. If somebody had asked me what is GRP and what is RPF, I didn't know. So though I was in parliament 4 terms before I became minister here. So these are the nuances which not necessarily people understand. In fact, I will tell you very frankly, I will confess, I hardly knew anything about the railways when I became railway minister. Though I was in the parliament for so many times. So we believe and presume that others know, but not necessarily they know. And therefore this fine distinction between RPF, GRP, we can keep telling that I also explain this to people, that because those states where the law and order is not good, we face this problem, which is a reality. In fact, I said it on TV also many times. But still, having said that, it is not enough to say and try to offer it as an excuse, but find out the ways of addressing this problem. I have already written to the state chief ministers. I think I can write to them again about bringing RPF and GRP together, because the law and order is a situation which under the constitution is a responsibility with respect to state government. But still again we'll keep trying it, because I am sure once keep trying, someday or other will happen. So in the next few days itself I'll write letters again. We had called one conference when after I became minister last year of all the busy police, I think, no? We had called
Yes.
one.
Yeah.
So I think we can do it again, but what I'm saying is, try to do something wherein we try to show to the people that it is uniform person, whoever it is, maybe it's from state cadre or from the RPF, his responsibility is to help people, and that is what the message must go. So one long program if you can organize, and try to look at all the issues that you mentioned, ticketless travel, going and finding out about illegal the hawkers and others, and also I have just tell you something very interesting. The other day there was and social media has become so powerful. I don't know, each one of you, are you on social media? Each one of you have a handle. I think we should try to take it to the lowest level possible. It helps so much. In fact, one thing I'll just tell you, we started this practice in the railways. I used to do it myself. Then I requested the chairman of the railway board, we created a small cell. You'll not imagine that people today are saying the railway has become better because of social media. So all other things are there, but what is important is how do you communicate. So there I will just tell you, in Kumbh Mela, recently in Indore, there was one constable who picked up an old woman, and that's become very viral video. You must have seen it yourself. An old woman wanted to go for the Mela, she couldn't climb, so he picked her up and brought her there. That small little gesture has created such a positive image about the rail, about not but the police. Obviously, that it must be JRP man. I don't know who was he, but State Chief Minister also had to tweet saying that see how our police are, how they are doing it. RPF. So how do we now? We should have owned it. I have tweeted it actually. When I saw that picture, I said I am thankful to RPF, etc. But it doesn't matter whether state government takes. I don't have. What I'm just saying is not that. Point I'm saying is one small little gesture like this, and a picture has gone viral. So imagine all these good deeds people were doing, and it's not voluntary act. That person's face also was not to be seen. We may not even bother about it because it was a call of a duty. That's how we should do it. But point is, now over a period of time, in the last 60-65 years, there has been so much of distance which has been grown between people and the police that people now feel that even something like this is a great thing. Actually, this should be a part of the responsibility. Like I keep telling my friends that somebody says that it's very good that you are doing honest job. I said, being honest is nothing great. That's the minimum one must do. If you are honest, what is the great thing about it? It has the minimum. This is a human quality every human being must have. If you are not honest, somebody must talk about it. Not that we are honest, something should talk. So something like doing a job of a police to help the citizen is a responsibility of that person. Inherent job. But that has become so rare nowadays that people feel something great has been done. So now we must try to reorient ourselves, try to be closer to people and use social media very aggressively. So in 1 month, I think we should have a very aggressive program. And again, as I said, it should not end with 1 month, but that should be a beginning. Try to raise bar so that can be followed in the remaining 11 months, and then every year we should try to do it. Once we do it, like last time 15 days was too much, so we did 1 week. Maybe afterward, not 1 month may be necessary. But to reinvigorate this organization, I think 1 month may be a good beginning. Try to give training, bring outside people, whatever it is, but try to create a new image of the entire RPF, and also along with them the GRP. And therefore, I think if we can do that, we'll succeed a great deal. I don't know what is the instance or incident or how much is the quantity of stolen cargo or something. Is it happening in a big way or it has gone down, whatever it is. But you should try to take note of that. Even every asset, like for example, scrap. Now scrap is of value to railways. It may be scrapped, but still it has a huge value to railways. How do you protect that? The system that we must develop. So I think what I am trying to tell you is that every place where we can earn money or we can stop losing money is something you also should apply. You should try to find out how to enhance the image of railways. You start to think about, and using technology is the most important thing. See, what we didn't know 20-30 years ago is now something which is available so easily. Not to use that technology is a great loss to all of us, and that will enhance our efficiency, improve our visibility, create positive image. So I think how to use technology, and I think now no longer it is necessary that technology must be used in headquarters. It should be used only by officers. How do you actually empower each and every person to use that technology? It may be different aspects of technology. Somebody need not be MTech in information technology to be a technology person. Nowadays the technology becomes so user friendly. So I think using that in a very efficient manner, useful manner, and something which will help to bring about all these changes that I talked about. So I think that again is something we should try to keep in mind. But I can tell you one thing, as I said in the beginning, we will try to take care of all where the RPF issues are, so that that will be the shortest possible time. You try to work on this strategy, not necessarily start 1 month from tomorrow. Prepare for it, because there is no point starting something which is not properly prepared, well thought of. So prepare a strategy. In fact, you must have a control room to execute it, so that every zone, every division will be able to look at it, and at the end of it, you must be able to see a quantifiable change into this, because then only it's worth it. Otherwise, it will be like another anti-tobacco week, 1 week, and then we smoke more. So it should not happen like that. I think we should try to do it, integrate, institutionalize, ensure that this is something which becomes part of the work culture of the railways. That is what is very important. Changing the work culture is far more important, and the benefit of that change of work culture are unimaginable. If somebody puts in whatever he is doing today, 100% for that time, that itself is enough. I think we don't have to do anything extra. Whatever we do for 5 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, of course we are supposed to work for 8 hours. Whatever time we work, that much work we give 100% to the institution that we work for. That's more than enough. And I think that's what we should try to do. You must have seen a Prime Minister, he's a great example for all of us. He hardly sleeps. I don't know when he sleeps. And he works throughout the day. And now it is easier for somebody to say I was working. But his work is shown on TV all the time. Media knows about his schedules. He has not taken a 1 day off, because I know him even before he became Prime Minister. I don't think he has taken a days off for years. I don't know how he works. Now he's tomorrow or tonight. He's going to Afghanistan, and from Afghanistan, final destination is Mexico. So 6 countries from USA to Mexico. So USA is North America, Mexico is Central America. So he's traveling all these places. And 6 days he's covering 6 countries as far as that. How are we doing it? Every state will have so many. So just imagine if the Prime Minister of India, our leader of the country, can work like this. Why we should not work? And if you work, just imagine the benefit that we'll get. You know, people, I keep telling this to many people, that one way to work is, of course, we have to run a family, so we have to work for our job. That is our job, because that's a livelihood. But what we should, if you work, not just for that, but for doing something more, the happiness that you get from it is far, far more important than the salary you get. And if that is something we must try to experience to really understand it. And I think that is what we must try to inculcate as a habit, motivate people to do that. And if we do that, what we are doing is for our country. I don't know whether I should tell you, I don't have time, but just 2 minutes I'll tell you, I'm supposed to be in some other place. And it's a true story. I was in China, then in 2000 I've been to China 30-40 times, one of the visits. I think yes, I was a Minister of Power. And then my wife was with me. They had invited both of us. So there was a very high level visit. Our ambassador at that time, who became then Foreign Secretary, Mr. Shiv Shankar Menon, said that Chinese have never hosted somebody like this unless he was the head of state. So that was for their reason. But though they have given a lot of support to us, there was a young girl, used to be always with me. And when we are there at 6 or 7 o'clock, she'll be at the hotel, we leave at 8 because they start working at very early, as you know. So when we go to the office, she'll double as our interpreter. And she'll go from our side to the other side and start giving technical presentations. So end of 2-3 days, I asked her, are you married? She said, yes. Because I said, you work like this, are you married? I said, you're a kid, because the Chinese look younger than what they are. So he said, are you a, she said, yes, I have a child. I said, who looks after? My parents, or sometimes my husband's parents, my in-laws, they look after. So I said, you work like this, how many days now? She said, no, now I'm in international department. So you go, somebody else is coming. Then somebody else coming. Sometimes the visitor on Saturday, Sunday want to go and look around tourist places, I go with them. So she work like this, so how much overtime you get? So till that she was looking very good answering question. I said, overtime she didn't answer. Her face became very blank. So my wife was trying to explain to her what is overtime. So she said, oh, you're talking about that. She said, no, I don't work for money, I work for my country. See, that is why China is so big, so large. So if you start thinking only about money all the time, my problem is their problem. We have problem. I also got problem. Everybody has problem. But if you start working for our own country, then only India will change. And that change cannot happen only Prime Minister working like this. This has to happen at all levels. Every person must work, every citizen must work, and that's how the China is such a great country today. 5 times bigger than India's economy. Big power, so nobody can now turn Chinese. If there was a time when US passport, nobody could even ask question. Oh, US citizen. Now US citizen, nobody bothered. But Chinese citizen, nobody will have any guts to question, because the entire might of China will come after that person, that state, to support that person. So I think, how can we make that? So if one of us, RPF has a responsibility, railway has responsibility, defense has responsibility, everybody. But we will say that defense has responsibility, let me not do it. Then defense will also say home has a responsibility. Home will say finance has responsibility, nobody will do anything. So should we start like this, or should we start with ourselves? So let us try to use this conference as a beginning, in which we will say that we are going to work for India, we are going to work for our nation, and to change that, we will put in extra effort. And not necessarily for anything else, but for my own happiness and for making my country better, which is far more rewarding than anything else. So let us try to commit ourselves to this. I wish you all the best, and anything that we can do for you, we are always there. So let's work as a team. There is nothing like railways and RPF separate. Sometimes I hear, sometimes even IRCTC, I used to tell them, they used to send complaint on the Twitter, they'll say, this is not our problem, it's the railways problem. I said, what are you? Who is railway and who are you? So this is not railways problem. In the railway board, if you can't say this is a mechanical problem. So then this is an electrical problem. We cannot be like this. It has to be everybody's problem. It may be dealt with by somebody, but problem has to be everybody's, and therefore we should think not RPF separate, railway board separate, zone separate, then will not work. It will has to be everybody's one. We have separate responsibilities. But the goal is same. If the goal is different, responsibilities are shared, then nothing will happen. So we must have shared goal, shared responsibility. I think that's what we should act on.